Like Cameo's big. People can have niche stuff on Cameo, right?
Okay.
Just Sangeeta laughing.
Just Sangeeta laughing. Okay, great. Let's have a look.
Can you remember, what was her name? On Rosie Lee, was it? No, who was it on TV?
It's a cup of tea.
Yeah, no, but that's why.
Sarah Lee?
No, that's why.
Rusty Lee.
Rusty Lee, yeah, not Rosie. Rusty Lee.
I remember Rusty.
She had an epic laugh, didn't she?
She did. Yeah, she was good. Yeah, I remember Rusty. I grew up on Rusty.
There's a Channel 5 thing about the Secrets of the 1970s dinner party, and there's like Debbie McGee at the table, the woman from Hello who played Yvette, and there's like 3 or 4 other 80s stalwarts.
And Yvette is Renee.
That was
Renee.
Yeah. And Rusty Lee is in the kitchen doing the dinner party.
No way.
Check it out.
That's a dream.
Yeah.
And how did you get an invite to this?
Well, you don't. You turn your telly on and you're there.
I mean, look, we are not long away from being able to go there in VR.
True.
You know, in the metaverse.
Who would be
Lee's
your
metaverse.
80s dinner party?
My 80s dinner party?
Or your 70s dinner party?
Well, I think I'd be very happy to be there with Debbie McGee, and I think maybe like Linda Lusardi, someone that's like a glamour model there, something, you know. Oh no, what was her name? Danielle Lloyd.
No,
she was years later.
Oh, was she? Was she the 90s? I don't know.
Ask me.
She was quite funny when she was on The Word as well. I find it fascinating, all the glamour girls from the 80s. Sam Fox is funny, wasn't she? But she went a bit Brexity recently.
Yeah.
Isn't she politics now?
Politics?
In
Fox
politics
News?
now.
You're getting her confused. Is she in politics? Maybe she is. I think she might like putting flags up on lampposts and stuff. But not, I don't know. It's a dangerous job though, isn't it? Like ladder work. She's only short, isn't she? She's only like 5 foot or something.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she takes a step ladder or cherry picker. I don't know. Wait, is she really in politics?
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought she was.
What's her number one policy? To bring back page 3?
I have to admit, I haven't kept up with it.
You haven't kept up. You're not following Sam Fox eagerly.
Oh, sugar lump.
But is this what you were doing at ITM? Were you on the Sam Fox
No,
desk?
I used to present a technology program for LBC when they were owned by ITN, and then on Sundays. In fact, I did do on Sunday lunchtimes. I used to do a thing called London This Week, which was the what's going on in London and the politics of the week.
Wow.
What? Hang on, this is crazy, and this is not even what Nick's here to talk about.
But you know what? I just listen. Ever since we've just had that voiceover thing, I'm now clocking everybody's voices. You've got an amazing mic voice.
I'm interested, but because we're not actually going to talk about this anyway. But were you on the radio, or were you a face as well?
No, I was radio.
Okay,
and I would only be face if they needed someone to do a quick little expert thing that normally got axed.
Yeah, stick your tie on.
Wow.
No, it was always just a round neck top.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, but because you never prepped for it, are you? You're just in.
No.
So like, go and have a chat.
I was working in this PR agency, and we had political PR agency next to us, and they just had wardrobes full of suits,
Just in
and
case.
it'd be like
With the tie of each colour.
Yeah, you've got to get down to the House of Parliament, so you get your suit on and do
Off you
whatever.
go. Wow.
There's been another crisis. Welcome back to Are You Creative? Exactly, to Are You Laughing? I'm doing the intro. Welcome back to Are You Creative? This is a podcast about creativity in Essex. You might live in Essex, or you might be from Essex and live somewhere else, but the important thing is it's like you're a bit Essex, innit? Mm-hmm. It's just a bit Essex, and you're creative.
And you're creative.
I'm from Essex. I was born in Colchester General Hospital, and I'm very, 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 very creative.
You are.
And what about you, Sangeeta?
I'm not so creative. I landed in Essex over 20 years ago, so originally not from Essex.
You landed here, what, in a helicopter, like Annika Rice?
Yeah.
Yeah? How did you land here?
In a helicopter.
What, at Southend?
I can't remember.
Or Stansted?
Memory's gone blank. My menopause has kicked in.
I didn't even... Hang on, Essex is even more awesome than I thought. We've got 2 airports.
Wow.
Stansted and Southend and Clacton.
And Clacton's got an air. Oh.
What? Is that another one?
Mary's.
Yeah, and North Weald.
Yeah, see?
Damn, we got so many
I landed
airports.
on one of those.
Yeah. And all of the airports in the wall that were like Wormingford and Birch and all of these other places. You could still land a plane there if you wanted.
Yeah, see?
Apart from the ones that have got housing estates on them.
Just do it anyway. Just make sure your maps are up to date, pilots. We've got a guest. We've got another guest who's got one of the best names I've ever heard. Nick.
Oh, it's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah, another Nick. So I think if you were born in a certain bracket of time, which I think me and Nick were, the chance of being called Nick was about 50% if you're a male, right?
It was supposed to be James, and it got switched around at the last minute. So James is the middle name.
Me too. I am Nicholas James.
Do we share a
Are
surname?
you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
You're both Nicholas James.
Yeah, and we had the same. There's an argument about whether it's James, and then my younger brother got called James.
And is he Nicholas as a middle name?
No, he's Oliver, because that was the other consolation prize, because that was the name my mum wanted. But I was at the pub once, and there were 6 of us around a table, and 4 were called Nick, and it was really confusing.
And 2 are called James.
I can't remember. I don't think they got a word in, because Nick's are awesome. Anyway, so we've got a guest called Nick. Nick, are you from Essex?
Now, yes, since I was 9, I wasn't born in Essex.
Where were you born?
Guernsey, Channel Islands.
Oh.
Wow, actually on Guernsey. Or
In Guernsey.
If you were born in Sark or something like that, you can say, you can be more specific.
That's within the bailiwick of Guernsey, but I was in Guernsey itself.
Okay, crazy.
Well, not that crazy. People are born there all the time.
So you came over from Guernsey when you were 9. Were you a bit sad about that?
No. I came over from Guernsey. I lived in Surrey when I was really young, and then we moved to Ingatestone when I was 9.
What, your mum just went, I fancy having this one in Guernsey. Take me to Guernsey. We have it. She was a big Bergerac fan, but she got the item wrong. John Nettles wasn't available.
Well, apparently they were going to do Bergerac on Guernsey. That was the plan.
Yeah.
And the States of Guernsey said no. So it went to Jersey, and obviously Jersey is the one that everyone knows
Big
better
mistake.
now.
Big mistake.
Retrospectively, I think it was.
Yeah, but I think they're bringing back Bergerac, actually. They're getting a new series. Yeah, have they?
Well, it was on last year.
Oh.
I've got all the freshest showbiz gossip. Who's Bergerac now? Jonathan Creek?
No, the guy who was in Game Face as a driving instructor. He was in Damien Maloney. Do you know him? He's Irish.
Oh, okay.
He was very good. It was a 6-parter once, because Bergerac used to be individual stories.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Bergerac? And it became a 6-parter, one story thing that they just split up. But it was all right.
I queued up once to meet John Nettles. He opened Debenhams in Colchester. And it was exciting. There was a celebrity coming, Bergerac, that was John Nettles, of course. Queue was too long. I didn't get to meet him.
I met Johnny Ball.
What?
Yeah.
I met Johnny Ball as well.
Did you?
Yeah. At Reading University. That's good, Nick. So when did you move to Essex?
When I was 9.
When you were 9?
I qualify now.
Yeah, you do. Well, you could have moved here yesterday. It still counts.
Good.
Or been born here and then just gone and lived on Guernsey. Doesn't matter. We have strict parameters for the podcast.
Okay.
But that's good. And are you creative?
Yes. Because I've listened to one of these, and I know that if you say no, you get sent home at this point.
Actually, if you look under your seat, there's a rocket. and this is why we have the circle in the ceiling here.
Because we can actually sound deadening.
No, we can fire you out at any point. So watch out. Sangeeta's got a button.
I have. But you are not going anywhere.
Thank you very much.
Well, no, because now Sangeeta is going to try and guess what you do.
This is a hard one. So I'm going to go entertainment business.
No.
Oh, hadn't even finished.
Straight away, burn. No, shut down.
And when I said entertainment, because it's quite broad, what I meant was I'm going to go with writing entertainment. So it's either like a poetry or a book or something like that.
Why? Why'd you say that?
Because your voice, your intelligence, I'm trying to figure out where
Justin's got glasses on.
Well, you've got glasses.
I know. Does it make me look more clever?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because you are clever.
But we've got Nick.
But
look,
you're very clever.
We got 2 Nicks here, both with baseball caps and glasses.
Can I go with? I'm going to go book. I'm going to go writing, book, plays, something like that.
Sangeeta, listen, you could have pretty much picked anything and it would have been right because Nick has written books.
Shut the front door.
But it's not why he's here.
Okay.
Nick's written books like how to take better photos on your iPhone.
You're a
That's
photographer.
going back a long,
Yeah.
No, I'm not a photographer.
Oh, he's not a
No, it's
photographer.
not.
That does come into it.
How to be smart with your Apple Mac, how to set up your Apple Mac
There's a lot
and
of
stuff
them,
like
yeah.
that.
Go on.
I was really impressed. I was looking on Amazon earlier and I was like, wow, Nick's got like 20 books out.
Oh, wow.
But that's
Go
not
on
why he's
then.
here.
Why are you here? Let's tell us. What's your latest creative?
I make spreadsheets.
What? What spreadsheets? As in Excel?
Not Excel.
Okay, so what kind of spreadsheet?
Well, the same. I mean, they would open in Excel. They would work in Excel.
What format do you save them
Well,
in?
I prefer OpenOffice because most
Yeah.
of the stuff I do is I use Linux rather than Windows or Mac for most of the stuff. Well, actually, the work all begins. Do we want to roll back to the very beginning?
please.
What? To the very first version of Excel?
No, to what it is, because spreadsheets.
Yeah.
What kind of,
Do you know, spreadsheets?
yeah, what's that got to do with creative?
I know, it's funny, isn't it? But you do get some people that, there's a man in Japan, isn't there, that colours in all the cells and makes drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
I think AC/DC released one of their music videos on the spreadsheet as well, so that people could share it around offices and watch, like back in the day. No, it was embedded as an ASCII file, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
So people do interesting things with spreadsheets. It's not all just numbers and stuff, but Nick probably does the coolest thing I've ever seen with a spreadsheet.
Nick, what do you do with a spreadsheet?
I make A1 sized photos. Not photos, drawings.
Oh.
So with Biros.
Wow.
So the spreadsheet codes a plotter. So a plotter is something that holds a pen, right? And draws with the pen. So it's almost like you're programming a robot to draw a picture with a spreadsheet.
Kind of. All the pictures start as life modeling sessions. So they'll begin as a photo. So you said photography, and that's kind of right. And then I use a script that I've written to slice it down into 250,000 or so squares and measure the brightness in each square and fill a spreadsheet with all those values. So that's where the spreadsheet comes into it.
Right.
Oh, and so the spreadsheet doesn't analyse the photos. You analyse them elsewhere and then import the data.
Yes, but I've written the code that does the analysis. So it literally looks at each square and it says on a scale of 1 to 100, how bright is that? And obviously if it's totally black, it's 0. If it's totally white, it's 100. And anything on the gradient in between is a different value. And then by hand, I'll draw spirals and squares and all sorts of different shapes. And the spreadsheet has the coordinates for all of these. And what I make sure is, if you imagine each spiral is within a square, because a spreadsheet cell is a rectangle, but we'll imagine they're squares for a moment. Where you go into the spiral, you go in at, say, 50% of the way down, and you leave at 50% of the way down the square as well. So you can imagine a line going straight through the square, but there's a big spiral in the middle of it. The darker the part of the picture that we're representing in that spreadsheet square, the more complex the spiral is going to be.
Right.
You lost that gator about 5 minutes ago.
Right. So what I was going to ask, so that I can get back on track, is spreadsheets with these spirals and the squares and the rectangles. What's the purpose? Who buys them? Who's it for?
Oh, so Sangeeta, this is a really cool thing. So basically, the spreadsheet is like code, right?
Right.
And imagine that there's this robot arm. It's not a real robot arm, but it's like a plotter holding a pen that draws out something because of these lines. So it's like coding. Yeah. But this plotter does this whole massive picture that turns out to be like a photo. Right. Over 80 hours.
What?
Isn't it?
There can be. It depends on the complexity and how many layers. Generally, what I try and do, because those lines go in and out of the cells at the same height, I will try and make it so that the pen goes onto the page once and it does the whole picture before lifting off the page. Right. So it needs to go all the way across through all those spirals and then go round a corner and all the way back again until the whole thing is finished, hopefully in one go. Trouble is, Biros are slightly unpredictable and you may end up 60 hours in running out of ink.
How long does a typical Biro last?
Kilometers. So I have got tables, because obviously Biros come with different ball sizes. So you've got very, very fine ones on the yellow, with the yellow barrel. Obviously, they're putting ink down more slowly. You got the crystal one, which is the clear barrel. That's so you got 0.7 millimeter ball. There's
uses
1 millimeter ball.
Uses more ink
more quickly. But also, because of the viscosity of the ink, the very large ball, which is the 1.6 millimeter ball, pulls down the ink a lot quicker. And the very small ball tends to grab the ink quite well because there's no gaps in it. But the one that's the normal crystal big biro in the middle, the sort of clear one, sometimes if you go too fast with that, don't frown, the ink isn't, the viscosity isn't such that it can come down the tube quickly enough. So you have to slow that one right down. So you might have an 80-hour plot with a certain size of biro, but some other biros you can run a lot faster. As long as they don't start to blotch.
This is like a Dull Men's Club sort of like level info, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because now I want to see your things about how many kilometres a certain biro can do.
Oh, believe me, I can.
And also I want to test 100 biros to get the average, like of the certain ball sizes.
I'll hand you my biro collection.
Thank you, please do. Can we do that? Can we make it just one big long line of 100 biros and have a biro race, and we can bet on which biro is going to last the longest?
It's a bit like Duracell, right? Yeah. All those batteries.
Now, Sangeeta, you're probably super confused by this, right? Yeah. Penises. There's a lot of penises on these pictures.
Right.
Sorry, I just wanted to spice up the podcast a bit. A lot of these pictures are nudes, aren't they?
Well, most life drawing is nudes.
Yeah.
And the way this came about was when we had lockdown, I was really into life drawing before that, and then life drawing went online, and it should have been so much easier because, of course, all the life models are posing within something in the shape of a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got your reference points. But I just didn't get it. There's no depth and no connection with the person that you're drawing.
Can't move your head around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And, the lighting is not great because it's in there flat, and it's all flat lighting in a flat, whereas you'd normally have a directional light from one side. So instead of doing that, I thought, well, what could I do instead? So I got in touch with Life Models and I said, can we do an online modelling session? But I just want to take reference shots and then I'm going to do some art.
What's a reference shot?
So where normally a reference shot, you'd sort of buy pictures from someone and they are pictures that anyone can use and you would just be able to draw off them. So they wouldn't necessarily be pictures that you own the copyright in. They might be pictures that you bought. So what I wanted to do was do my own pictures so that they were my pieces of work to begin with. And I didn't actually start doing this with plotters. What I actually did was I bought an A2 typewriter. So I broke everything down into 3 layers. So where something is quite light in the image, it would only be typed over with 1 layer. Where something is a bit darker, it'd be typed over twice. And where something is really, really dark, it would be typed over 3 times.
Were they different letters?
Yes. So, for example, in a really light area, you might just have a full stop.
Yeah.
In a dark area, you might have like an M, capital M, overlaid by an X, overlaid by an O, because you want to cover up as much of that tiny little area as you can. Which was brilliant. It took about 3 weeks to do every picture, and then I got a frozen shoulder and had to have 6 months of physio to get rid of the frozen shoulder because it was like manual earplugs in. Yeah.
Can I go super geeky? On a typewriter, is it monotype? Is it mono width?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can plot it on a.
Absolutely,
so take it to when I say mono width, is every letter's the same width. A lot of fonts. Letters are different widths, so it won't all line up. Yeah, so it is like having squares, right?
Yep.
So you're working on a strict grid. I like that. That appeals to me. Appeals to my autism.
Well, there you go. So I thought, well, what could I still do that's creative? What I really liked was you were using something really new, which was Zoom and all those technologies that just come down because of lockdown, with something really old, which is a manual typewriter. So I wanted to carry on doing something that mixed together new technology and old to make pictures that would only possibly exist if those 2 worlds were coming together.
Oh, wow.
So the thing I then moved on to was cyanotype, because I was still into photography. Now, cyanotype was invented in the 1700s, and it's a process where you put 2 different inert chemicals onto paper that you can keep in daylight, and they do nothing until you mix the 2 of them together. And they make this blue tone. The more they're exposed to sunlight, the darker that blue tone is. So what you normally would do then is you put like flowers and leaves, pressed leaves and things on top of the cyanotype. And it was used many, many years ago for making books of prints of, flora and fauna. So
just going to stop you here for a second, Nick. Sangeeta actually owns a cyanotype. Jim Dexter, a previous guest, made one of us, didn't he, as a gift?
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, that really cool blue picture you got, and he made that in his shed with via cyanotype. So yeah, it's really
so
good.
now it's just clicked. Ding, ding. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But I wanted to go one step further, so I did them on maps because obviously the sea is a nice blue already. So what I did was I used masking fluid to go around the edge of the coastline, then paint all the sea with cyanotype so that when I then exposed it, the sea took on the photo. Obviously, the land was still exactly as the land should look. And when you washed away your excess cyanotype, you got the sea colour back in the white areas.
Which were often penises.
Which were sometimes penises. And then I had an idea for a...
Which were occasionally penises. And in the shipping report, there will be the occasional penis off the coast of Essex.
And I thought, what other material could I use? Because I ran out of maps because shops were closed and you couldn't buy maps. Oxfam's a brilliant place to go and buy second-hand maps.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and, you can just go and they've got dozens. You just look for the ones that have got a lot of seaside. So I thought I would...
Nick has just slid a box across to the Sangeeta.
Tea bags. And obviously, when you're doing tea bags...
Oh, my goodness.
Go on, Sangeeta. Tell us what you're seeing, please.
I'm seeing a batty.
What are you seeing? No, tell us what you see in the box.
I'm seeing tea bags.
Oh, there's a bottom. There's a tea bag with a bottom on it.
It says on the
One's
label.
got a... Oh, look.
Oh, okay. So Nick has been printing...
Bum bags.
Oh,
fresh bum bags.
Nick has been printing on tea bag material with cyanotype.
Don't sniff.
And there's pictures of bottoms on it. Sangeeta is actually just sniffing the bottom. And Nick said, don't sniff the bottom,
only because
Sangeeta.
it says
You're not a
bum
dog.
bags fresh.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, obviously, reading the word fresh, I want to know what it smells like. And it doesn't have a smell. But the pictures...
Are these real tea bags?
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
There's
they're real tea bags.
different
Yeah.
bottoms.
I love it. And you've really... You've strayed away from the scrotal area.
There are ball bags
pick
at
that
home, but I thought I wouldn't bring.
Yeah, because teabagging obviously is used in the scrotal area.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've heard.
You seem particularly knowledgeable on this subject.
Yeah, he always is.
No, they're for people who use leaf tea.
Okay.
Yeah, so you put your loose tea in
You put the loose
here.
tea in and you pull the tag.
And can you actually and these actually are
God.
waterproof? Like the art won't get ruined.
No, but you can't put. No, theoretically, cyanotype. Once you've done it, it's permanent.
Oh,
because
yeah.
you obviously rinse it off anyway to get rid of the excess. So you could dunk that in a cup of tea.
And then it would look vintage because it's like when you're in primary school and you make vintage paper by tea staining it.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to
Brown
make some.
stains there.
That's the nicest
Yeah, well, I had to make some pants look dirty for a music video I did a few weeks ago, and actually I got some tea in a bowl and gave them a good dip
Chocolate.
around the scrotal area. No, it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to look like poo. It was just supposed to look like old pants,
Well
like
worn.
sweaty. Yeah, well worn. And I got this cheese grater out and gave it a bit of a cheese grater. It looked really good.
Yeah.
And
I'll take your word for it.
considering they were completely clean, they looked filthy, and the guy didn't want to put them on. I was like, they are completely clean. And he said, "Can I have another pair of clean, dirty pants, please?"
Did you think you'd been wearing them for a fortnight?
I think I hasn't worn them for about 3 years to get the same effect. But anyway, these tea bags, where were you selling these?
Well, I'm not. They were just a personal project.
Oh, I love it. They're
They
so good.
are
I
amazing.
thought I might do that.
Bum bags.
Yes.
Fresh.
Oh, mate.
I always like to drink my tea from a bum bag.
You know we've got to take pictures with
Yeah,
these.
exactly.
I'm going to find.
Yeah, we're gonna have a picture
I'm going to
later
find
on.
my favourite bottom.
This is good. How many
And
of these?
oh,
How many of
that's
these?
the
Are these all
favourite
different?
bottom.
These bum bags.
They're all different.
Yeah, they're all different, you know.
So how many bums have you got in here?
I don't know, 40 bums?
Where
40
did you
different
get
bums?
the bottoms from?
Well, they all posed.
Are these all life models?
Yeah.
Are they all the same person?
No.
No, they're
You've
not.
got a
All
really
the-
good collection of bums in.
Yeah, all the bottoms are different.
Were you specific
Can't
about
be
the
the
pants
same
that they had
one.
to be wearing? Because
No.
this one's got like pants like a
Oh,
frame
look,
I would
this
never
is
say-
a lovely
with a
one.
bare buttock.
I'd
but
never-
a frame.
Well, even that one's a lovely one.
Yeah, and that's well framed, isn't it? Well, look, Sangeeta.
Yeah.
We're not shopping for bums now.
Well, you might not be, but I am.
Sangeeta is using this like an analog grinder.
Hello, mate.
Sangeeta is making a pile to the left and a pile to the right of the bums she likes.
Just swiping.
She's
I'm
swiping them
the
away.
bottoms. It's okay. It's a magic box. I think this box might come away with me.
Sangeeta, I've got a feeling that these bums are not interested in women
No, I gathered that.
or going to women's houses.
No, but I gathered that. That's not why I want them. I just think, listen, just because they're good looking, it's okay.
They're very pert, aren't they?
They are.
Oh my God. I think this might be the most not
So,
safe for
you know,
work.
it's like looking at something you can't have, but you can have because you've got a picture of it.
It's art. Now, Sangeeta, when we were at the Voyager 2000 talking to George Moore, I was getting really distracted because there was a penis on the wall in my peripheral vision, and it just kept distracting me. And that was Nick's art on the wall in that room.
No way.
Yeah, it was
Not a self-portrait.
no. But,
Oh,
it was sort
wow.
of cut up into squares, and it's sort of like, it looked like looking at someone through frosted
Bathroom
glass.
window.
Yeah,
So
bathroom
you-
window. Yeah.
So you had a hand in that exhibition as well?
Well, I didn't have a hand in it. I had a piece of art.
Oh, yeah.
But this was
Boom.
this was at FirstSite, and this was
Yeah.
Voyager 2000 exhibition that George curated.
Yeah.
And we were doing this podcast in the room, and I couldn't keep my eyes off it. Like, for one, it was a really great piece of art. Anyway, it reminded me of Chuck Close as well, the portrait artist who got face blindness, so he had to break everything down into squares. So I was fascinated by the technique as well. So those things I just wanted to go over and have a look at it to see how it was made and things like that.
That came out, that was born of the same code that I used for the plotter. So the first thing I did was I didn't go straight into plotting very complex spirals and things. I actually just broke down images into individual squares and then measured the color rather than the intensity of the light, and then just recreated using a mosaic effectively. So each square of the mosaic was one solid color without any variation in it. And then I thought, well, you could apply that to a photo, slice the photo up, recreate the photo, but move the pieces around within it just to give it a level of confusion. And the idea was to make a picture that the whole point of the picture was the censorship of the image. So it's a sort of self-censoring picture, and it has gone on to various other bits. I quite like the idea of obscuring, but the whole picture is still there if you can unscramble it. So another thing I'd sometimes do is you have the same model pose dressed and undressed, and cut them both into jigsaws, and then you'll swap pieces around. So you would never be able to get the nude photo back unless you own both jigsaws, and you could put the pieces back into the right places.
Oh, this is like a really slow version of one of those pens that you can turn up and down, and the globes come off the lady.
Fall off.
Yeah, so you got to get these two jigsaws. I mean, it's like downloading porn in the old days on a dial-up network, line by line. I'd be like, oh, I've got the edge pieces in now, but I've got to fill in the centre.
I never had those lady pens. I had a Townsend Torsen ferry that used to go into dock.
Oh yeah, that was amazing, that one as well. I love that. I noticed like the squares were like quite different sizes.
Yep.
So it wasn't a strict grid on there.
It is a strict grid. Everything divides down. So I generate it 3 times simultaneously, which gives me then 3 different densities of pixelation. So there's very fine pixelation, which is quite true to the original image. There's then a medium pixelation, and then there's very bold pictures that basically don't make any sense because there's not enough detail in there.
Yeah.
And so what I'll then do is I'll stack them in an image editing application with the very fine one underneath, the medium level of detail on top of that, and the really not very good level of detail at all on top. And anywhere where that not very good level of detail doesn't show you enough to work out what's going on, I'll take a square out to reveal twice as many squares underneath on the middle level of detail. And if that doesn't give you enough information, I'll take one of those squares out, so then you double again. So my intention with those images is always to present the least amount of information while still getting the picture across to the viewer.
Gotcha.
But you can always dig down through 3 layers to double it and double it again if you need to do it. So what you actually saw in that image was where the very unimpressive large pieces that don't carry much information did give you enough, I would leave them in place.
Yeah, the penis had far more information around it. I think the squares got smaller, and I thought it was a comment on anti-censorship, other thing. It was getting less and less censored.
Write that into my caption.
But you can just read it in what you want. That's what I love about art, isn't it? I think if someone's looking at it and they're taking something from it.
I did go to a gallery and they said, it's really good, but you need to step back from what you've done because you can't tell us what the story is behind the art.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to retrofit a story to what I produced, which I did. But I was never actually entirely sure. It wasn't anything to do with that exhibition. I was not entirely sure that was the right way to be doing it because I hadn't set out with that in mind. Yeah. I'd actually set out in mind with this whole censorship and breaking things down and the technology of not picking the pen off paper and using old and new technology together. That was what the whole project was about. And it was also about distance, and everything had to be done at a distance because, you get that pixelation in the image that comes down. And particularly when COVID first started and we used a lot of this image video conferencing software, the quality wasn't always great because we were all online. Our broadband connections weren't doing very well. So this idea of a slightly...
It went all potato quality, didn't it? It was like all like
blurry
and
stamp.
It was all like blurry and weird and smooth people's faces out and stuff.
Yeah, but I've moved off using those products mainly, those video conferencing things to... There's another app called Shutter, which they install it on their phone. The model installs it on their phone. It's free. And then I would log in through the browser and it gives me control over the shutter release button on their phone. So what it actually does is it takes the native resolution picture from their phone and gives me the unedited, uncompressed image straight off their sensor.
Brilliant. So when they're posing, you can just choose exactly that moment. And can you change the lensing or the
So you can do front and back lens, and if they've got multiple lenses, you can switch between the lenses. And I'd always say at the beginning of a session, if there's any point where you don't want images taken, just let me know and we'll stop.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready to carry on, we will.
And where do you find your models from? Are they like just general life models, or are they people who haven't done modelling before?
Some are people who've never done it before, and a lot of them contact me. So a lot of them will have seen the stuff that I've done and they say, I'd like to be in pictures, how do I go about it? And I say, well, generally, let's just set up a session. And I don't use all of them because sometimes it just doesn't work or we don't gel. Yeah. And I always want to talk, I want to use people in the pictures that I've got a connection with. So I don't tend to like people to just send me pictures and say, can you do something with this? Because I don't know who they are. I'd like to, like, if it's a builder, I'd like to get something of their profession in there or their character, because I think it's much truer to the model. I want it to be a collaboration at the end of the day, rather than just me producing. And I think that maybe is why the whole online life modelling didn't work for me. Well, not life modelling, life drawing didn't work for me, because there was not a connection. There was 50 people all around the world with this one model, rather than us all being in one room with the model.
These and the pictures, they're super photographic. There's no anonymity to them or anything like that. You can really see who the people are. So for amateur models to suddenly be put out there naked on a piece of art must be quite an interesting cultural venture for them.
I think some of them find it really refreshing, because generally you don't take your clothes off, particularly in front of a stranger. Even if it is that they're 100, 200, I've done people from Australia, Melbourne, wherever, they're on completely the opposite side of the world, but it's still exposing yourself and making yourself vulnerable. Because at the end of the day, whoever's got those images, you've got to trust that they're going to be good custodians of them, only use them in the way that you've agreed. And if you want to be anonymous, there's got to be ways for that to be facilitated. So there have been some models where they've been very happy to be, in underwear and their face is visible, but if they go beyond that, they don't want faces visible. So then you have to think about how you could set up a pose where they can do that, but still be anonymous. So
or pixelate out their face.
Well, I wouldn't want to do that, because I want them to trust the process. I want them to be in control of what picture is taken, and I don't want them thinking, well, what's in the collection there that I'm not happy with. So I'd say something like, be taking your shirt off so it's obscuring your face in those pictures, or read a book so the book's in the way. Just whatever they're comfortable with. I think it has to be what drives the whole session, because otherwise it's not fair on the model.
This is really interesting, because when you're looking at your pen plotter and you're saying it's 60 to 80 hours, getting that photo right at the very first instance, with the pose, the contrast in the lighting, what's going to make a good plotted picture. It's that rubbish in, rubbish out thing, isn't it? You've got to make sure you're really, really on point at every point in your process.
Yes, but also because obviously we're not using film, you've got no limit on the number of pictures you can take. And some of these sessions have been 400 or 500 pictures, because I will literally just say, move as much as you want. It's not live drawing. You don't need to be posing for this. You don't need to hold yourself still. Just keep moving, and I'll just go click, 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 click through the session. And generally the first thing you do at the end of the session is a huge turf out. Chuck out all the rubbish. If you've got 6 or 7 pictures that are almost the same, you can get rid of 5 of them probably.
Got you.
And do you go back for approval as well? Do you say, I'm thinking about using this picture, are you happy with this?
Depends on the model. Some don't care. Some are just want to get it out and be brazen
amazing.
about it.
I mean, that must be such a buzz for them to then see themselves ending up on gallery walls as well. This FirstSite, you've had Ai Weiwei there, you've had
and all the other people. Brian Eno was in that exhibition.
Yeah, Brian Eno was in that exhibition. I was trying to think of someone really impressive, and I totally forgot their name. Who's the guy that makes the statues in the water?
Anthony Gormley.
You have Anthony Gormley there. Sarah Lucas. You've had amazing people have been in that gallery.
Yeah.
And then Nik Rawlinson.
I'm sure they're saying the same about me and all the podcasts they're on.
It's brilliant. I'm glad that George did such an open call for his exhibition and got, famous artists and artists that weren't so well known like you as well.
It was nice, wasn't it? It was quite refreshing to have such a mix.
And it's brilliant to see them all together. Everything had parity and a place in the story as well. Brilliant.
It was there was a lot there, wasn't there? First time I saw it, it was like, wow.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed the first time I went in there. But then when I sat in a room with George for an hour and a half talking to him, and I was just constantly looking at one picture, and I was like, I've got to go and see what's going on there. I was really drawn to your picture. It was amazing. I was interested in the process, but as well as the story behind it.
Thank you.
And neither disappointed.
Well, either they've shredded it or it's in a storeroom. So then ask them for it.
Do you not get it back?
Well, no, they licensed the image for that one exhibition.
Okay.
So they then produced it. So technically that's their piece of paper.
It's not plotted.
That's not plotted. That's a photo that's been mosaiced. So they own that piece of paper. I obviously own
you don't control the print on that?
No.
I thought like an artist would control the print.
Well, I'd imagine a well-known artist, an Anthony Gormley or Brian Eno or whoever would.
You'd specify what paper you want and
A5 Brazelton Bond.
What, just the off-white one?
Yeah, the one where you have to put the guide sheet behind it.
Yeah, and it must have a watermark on it.
Nobody under 30 is going to know what we're talking about.
Listen, I'm in my 50s and I'm so confused. Just such an amazing concept. A tea bag, but with a human bottom on it. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be bottoms, but just a tea bag.
Sangeet, you said you wanted to go all voiceover, like Helen Quigley. You just went, a tea bag with a human bottom on it.
Did it sound good?
It sounded amazing.
Did it really?
It's like the coolest thing I've ever heard anyone say.
So maybe I could advertise Nik's products. Let's see if we can make some money over Christmas. Then you can hire me. Then I'll have a job. Yay, I paid one.
Nik, I want to get geeky for a second.
Go on.
So with do you say Linux or Linux?
Well, I say Linux.
Yeah, Linux.
Because the guy that...
that wasn't the question, by the way. With your Linux spreadsheet, and I saw you run it through Raspberry Pi as well.
The Raspberry Pi controls the plotter. Yeah. I don't use the Raspberry Pi for the calculation because it would take too long. And I had such a revelation because I used to do it on a really old computer I secondhand bought in CEX for a load of testing years and years ago. And it would take maybe 2 or 3 hours to actually do the calculation to begin with. And then I put it on my Mac Mini, which is probably 6 or 7 years ago, old. And that went down to about 40 minutes. And then I put it on the new Mac Mini. And it's like, well, 5 minutes later, you've got the answer that you're looking for.
Wow.
So just seeing how things have changed in the last 8 or 9 years. Pardon me. And obviously the M4 processor that's using is clearly optimized for that kind of job. So it does very... Anyway,
I need to explain to Sangeeta. Yeah. So Raspberry Pi is like well, you can explain. It's like an open access small computer, right?
It's a Cambridge-based company that makes these very small computers. They're generally the size of a credit card. There are some smaller ones as well. And they've got everything on them that you need to run a full operating system with mouse and keyboard and Windows and the whole lot. And they cost, for a decent, Raspberry Pi 5, we're looking at 50 quid.
Yeah. When we were at school, they'd have these BBC Bs and stuff in the computer labs.
BBC Master, if you were really lucky.
Yeah. And just so you could learn to program. I think Raspberry Pi sort of came out for open access programming. So, people with not so much money can get into it and learn how to hack and not hack, not like break into NASA or whatever.
Well, that's cracking. Hacking is more ethical. Yeah. Cracking is the less ethical side of it.
Is it?
Well,
that's hacking on coke.
Yeah. Okay.
No, so cracking's when you break in somewhere. So hacking's like if you get a device and you're like, so I've got this Raspberry Pi. What can I use it for? I'm going to control a pen plotter with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing. So you actually had to develop this whole technique.
Not the Raspberry Pi side. What I do is I develop the thing that breaks the image down to begin with. So that's all in code. The spreadsheet has taken me about 2 years to perfect, and it's basically 250,000 cells, depending on the size of the image that I'm working with, normally split across 8 to 16 different tabs because you need each tab to refer to previous tabs. Because you've got tabs of coordinates, tabs of the actual how the spirals work, tabs that have then amalgamated the spirals and the coordinates, tabs for your raw data that's coming out of the bit of code that I wrote at the first place. And then all of that gets output into something that's called an SVG file, which stands for Scaled Vector Graphics, which is literally, if you thought about drawing a circle on a piece of paper and then you photocopied it larger and larger and larger, the quality would get worse. But if you gave me the instructions for how to draw a circle, I could draw the circle at any scale and it would always be exactly the same amount of quality. So where a photo is a load of pixels on a piece of paper and you enlarge it, you get what you call potato print pixelation.
Like Minecraft.
Exactly like that. With an SVG file, it's just the instruction for how to create the shape. So when I make all these spirals, they're saved as the instructions of how a spiral works.
Okay.
So the spreadsheet at the end of the day stitches together all of those instructions and just puts out one uber file of how to make a spiral that starts in one corner of a page and goes all the way through these rows and all the way down till you get to the last corner of the page in the right densities to recreate the original image that you start with. So what I then do is open that SVG file, graphics file, in a piece of software called Inkscape, which is a commercially available but free piece of graphics editing software that runs on Raspberry Pi and all sorts of other platforms. And that is what then sends it through to the plotter. So I didn't write the code that controls the plotter.
Okay.
But I did do all the bits leading up to that.
I have never seen Sangeeta look more confused in my life.
No, that's what. No, it's not confused. It's not bored. Because what I now wanted to ask, with all that technical stuff that just came out, how many more people can do what you do?
I haven't.
Like, how in demand? Because you sound like what you're doing is very unique. So I don't know about this world. Are there other people that can do what you do?
I haven't seen it done elsewhere.
So why are you not famous then?
Sangeeta, you see, because Nick has written this is proprietary. Nick owns this code. He owns the spreadsheet.
That's what I was thinking.
No one else can do it.
That's what I'm thinking.
You could do something like it, but it's not going to be exactly this.
It wouldn't be exactly the same. And also the spirals and the squares and everything, they're hand drawn by me. So although you're getting at the end of the day a computer drawn product, it's my spirals, my handiwork that's drawn it. And also each one is unique because pens blotch, pens run out, pens react to the paper differently. Sometimes you'll use a light blue and a dark blue on top, so you've got light blue for your highlights and dark blue for your shadows. Sometimes you might use a black and a blue, or a blue and a red, or purple and a red.
All of that you've just said, the blue and the red and the black and whatever with the mix, is this all that you've worked out over the years of doing this? That, actually, if I use this bit, because if no one's done this before, I'm assuming there was no manual that you could read.
There was no manual. But I think, like most ideas, one thing came from another, from another. So as I say, this started as it started with the girl with the pearl earring.
Yeah.
You know, the very famous Vermeer picture.
Yeah.
And I just broke it down into, I think, 13 columns and 27 rows, sampled the average colour in each of the squares that left me with, and then made a square that was that average colour.
Right.
And you ended up with a pixelated version of that picture, which didn't make a huge amount of sense close up, but as you got further away from it, it made more sense.
Right.
And then I thought, well, let's round off the corners. So we then had rounded squares. So it was still a mosaic. And then I thought, well, if we rounded the corners by 100%, you end up with circles. So then I ended up with a circle version.
How creative are you? Listen, this is the creative Nick, because that was some complicated stuff there, honestly.
I got to
say, you say it so calmly.
If you look at Nick's website, it's really cool because
I'm gonna have to now.
Nick throws himself into everything, like this typewriter stuff and the spirals and the mosaics and the puzzles, and it's just fun. I think there's a continuity between all your work. You know, you can tell it's by you. You can tell it's from your brain, and there's always like a little techie, clever thing about it where you're hacking it.
It's the tech.
Yeah,
like like just looking at the product, I would never have thought of someone making tea bags. Forget the picture, but just the fact that there's a tea bag.
Did you see that guy on the internet? And he worked out that most puzzles are cut from the same puzzle shape. So he started doing mutant puzzles, you know, where he get like a train and start putting a horse's head on it. And
the first time I tried to do my interwoven puzzles, I actually, because I didn't have a laser cutter at the time, I've got a laser cutter now, so I do cut my own puzzles. So I know for definite that they are going to line up. But the first thing I did was I ordered 2 very large puzzles of the same life model, once dressed and once undressed, and thought, well, I'll just swap them over. Yeah. They didn't use the same.
Really?
I think probably what they did was they got one enormous graphics file that was, like a zero or whatever it was, and laid everyone's pictures onto it and then just cut out one puzzle shape. So I think probably my 2 images were next to each other rather than being both A3 or A2, whatever they were, and cut with the same die.
Yeah, I think this guy was like, it was Ravensburg or something, you know.
That's very famous.
The big puzzle people, and he's like, all these puzzles are the same.
Pictures are different.
Yeah, pictures are different. But you can just swap out the pieces. Yeah. I love it. But when I saw your stuff, I was like, oh, that is even more clever. Like just deliberately getting the puzzles done so that you can stitch them together.
So before COVID, before you got to the bit with computers and all of that, you mentioned something around live drawing. So is that what you used to do? Do you do?
Only as a hobby. So my career started as editing computer magazines, which you would never have guessed from this.
Was it PC Mag, wasn't it?
It was PC Mags, and then I went into Mac magazines. So I covered the whole lot, and now I write quite a lot about Raspberry Pi. So the whole lot has sort of gone full circle.
Right.
So it started as that, and then I got made redundant from that in 2010-ish, I think, which obviously at the time, great shock. It always is when you're made redundant.
Yeah.
And retrospectively was absolutely the best thing that could have happened.
Yes, of course.
And I think that's the truth for a lot of people.
You don't see it at the time, do you? But it's afterwards you go, okay, that was quite good.
Yeah, exactly. I was on the wrong path anyway, and I should have quit of my own accord, but you never quit a good job
that's
because you'd be mad if you did that,
that's
wouldn't
right.
you? So being pushed out with redundancy payment is absolutely the best thing. Anyone who's facing that at the moment, it's not the end of the world. So I then went freelance, and that let me expand into areas of interest. And it also gave me time to practice things and play with things. And you could justify having that bit of kit in your office or your studio, wherever it was, because you might be able to write about it at some point. So a lot of the kit that I'm using is stuff that I've written about or I've tested in the past. And that's just how I've learned to use these things.
And has your art ended up actually as articles? You know, you're like, hey, I hacked the Raspberry Pi to do this, and now I've got content from it as well as this amazing art.
I haven't. Well, I mean, obviously you can't put most of this in most magazines, particularly not most computer magazines. It doesn't fit the remit.
No, I mean, is there a crossover like naked PC mag?
PC nude.
Yeah.
Oh, PC News.
Is there? Yeah. An NSFW PC mag.
Well, that was the other thing that sort of I was interested in. This was the whole NSFW idea, because this did start using software that's used in businesses, so office suites. It's using business video communication systems. So that whole idea of transposing what they're supposed to be used for into something that they absolutely should not be used for, and creating content using business tools that would get you fired effectively from a business.
Oh, this is
I just
amazing,
like
isn't
the
it?
whole...
Pennies just dropped.
I love this.
Yes, I love that rebellion side.
So again, one of the big things that nerdy people love doing on the internet is trying to run Doom on stuff, the computer game Doom. So there's be like, can I run Doom on an electric toothbrush, or can I run it on a co-op shopping scanner and things like that? And I love this whole movement of using things for something it's not supposed to be used for.
For something different.
And I think that's so fun. Like Excel, what can you do in Excel?
Yeah.
Oh, open Office. Other spreadsheets are available. Google Pages.
It would Google Pages, Google Sheets. Google Pages is Apple.
Sorry, Google Sheets.
No, I mean it would open in Excel. These are standard spreadsheets. There's nothing special about the spreadsheet apart from the size of it and what the data it's contained. That's contained within it. You could open it in any spreadsheet application that you wanted to, and it would technically still work.
If I was like a mega rich person and I wanted to come along and commission you to do my portrait, how long would that process take from you like ingesting a photo, coding it all, setting up the plotter? Sounds like about a week's work.
Well, it depends. I mean, taking the photo is really easy. That could be 20 minutes. I quite often say to people who are modelling, it can be as short or as long as you want. So, I normally say, put aside 20 minutes, and we end up chatting for so long. Yeah. It's like when Zoom came out, the first few that I did, we ended up using the whole of the free 40 minutes chatting. And then we had to start a new call and say, right, let's actually just focus on doing the pictures.
Is that just you on a monologue explaining how the spirals work?
No, because I didn't know the process really then. I was still finding my way. And so that's what I say about, I really like to engage with the person that I'm doing the project with. And if I haven't engaged with them, I know these are pictures of bums at the end of the day, but I know who all the people are.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And if I haven't engaged with the person during the session, I'm not really interested in doing the picture at the end of the day, unless there's a really good reason for it, like it's a particularly striking pose, or they've got a very unusual look about themselves, or it's the kind of person that I've not got within the collection, if you want, and it sounds awful, doesn't it, the collection, but
in your human zoo.
No, I mean, if you want a diverse gallery, if it's all different white men of a certain body type, that's just boring. So you want a whole diverse
stuff. God, I didn't think about that as well.
So a lot of it was just chit chat, and I've completely forgotten where this started.
How long would it take?
How long would it take? So, it could be as short as 20 minutes to get the photos done. I then do a quick skim through. I normally do the maths on 4 or 5 because they're not all going to work. Some might look really good, and then you realise that the contrasts are too harsh and things. So I'd say within the first hour and a half, you could probably have the maths done. And then it's just a matter, if you were pushing it, it's never that quick. But if you were pushing it, you could get that done. And then it depends how big you're doing. So A1 obviously takes an infinitely more amount of time than even A2 because you haven't only got double the amount of paper.
Yeah.
With A2, you've got borders around. So you're going to lose 2 of those borders where the 2 bits of paper meet. So you've got like another 3 inches worth of plotting to do for a full width. Then whether you have to go slower because of the kind of pen you're using, whether the pen runs out halfway through it. Even things like Sharpies, sometimes they're really great, but if you're doing them over too big an area, you might start to lose the liquidity of the pen, which in itself is quite interesting because you then get this decay in it. And it again plays with that whole idea that while this is digital, it's also imperfect and it's relying on the physical.
Yeah, Sharpie nibs really degrade quicker than it runs out of the ink as well, because I do a lot of drawing Sharpies. And it's really frustrating. Always, get a new one. And it's like,
I love it. I love it. Oh, I don't.
Oh, yeah, but then I'll just use them for colouring in the black bits. The bigger black bits, and get another Sharpie.
So for example, now say you was going to do a piece of work, and you know that's going to need 3 blue Bics.
Yeah.
Would you then, I guess what I'm trying to ask is, you've got 3 packs of blue Bics. You use 1 pack, it's gone. Is the other pack going to be the same colour, or do you just hope that it all comes out the same? Do you know sometimes products are similar, but in different batches they come out a little bit different?
When you're buying paint.
Yeah. There you go.
Lounge,
That's
you need to make
it.
sure you get the same paint code. I tend to find those colours are fairly faithful.
Right. Okay.
What I do find though is where you're talking about changing pens. It's very, very difficult to get the pen in exactly the right place again in the pen holder.
Yeah.
So what I've then sometimes done is when I'm doing something I know is going to be really demanding on the pen, I'll try not to do one of those continuous lines, and I'll do floating circles or something. And then I've made an algorithm where I had a grid of circles, so they were perfectly lined up, and I loved it. It looked brilliant until the pens started to blotch, and I wanted to be able to take them out and clean them and then put them back in again to carry on doing it. And you put it in and you're a millimetre out. And because it's so regimented, it's really, really obvious it's a millimetre out. So I then wrote into my algorithm permission for the spreadsheet to wobble the positions by up to 50 pixels left, right, up and down, depending on the intensity of the shade within the picture. So if you imagine you've got you on a very plain background, you're what's important, and the plain background, because it's very well lit, is going to have very light circles on it. They're not really very important. So what I make sure the algorithm would do is it would look at the intensity of any square, and if the square is very dark, it's obviously very important to the picture in making that picture true. So it won't let that circle or square or whatever is in that position vary from the coordinates that I've given it.
Right.
But if it's anything around you, the lighter it gets, the less important it is to making the image work. Because if it wasn't there, we still have a white piece of paper. So I'd let those vary more, and they can float off to wherever they are. So if I need to change the pen, I'll wait until we're in one of those areas that's not very well defined, pause the plotter, take the pen out, clean it, put it back in, and no one knows. It could be out by 5 mils or something. No one would know.
You want to get one of those pens you had when you were a kid, and you can click all the different colours down.
10
Oh, yeah.
10 colours in one, yeah. Or have you ever thought about trying to hack loads of pen tubes into one super tube?
Into one super one.
Blow from the end so they all go down.
If you do that, would it not have the right amount of pressure in it? Is that because it's all very specific, isn't it?
I don't think it's to do with pressure, because the barrel of a Bic crystal has got a hole drilled through it, and if that hole's not there, obviously you're not getting any air in to replace the vacuum.
I think in the tube there's a vacuum, isn't there?
There is, but I think it's more to do with viscosity of the ink. I think the ball, there's meniscus tension within the ink, I think, and the ball is just peeling it off.
Because didn't they say, the Bics were invented so they could write in space? It works in zero gravity or something.
I don't think it does. The Fisher Space Pen was invented.
Oh, the Fisher Space Pen,
and then Russia took pencils.
So they said Russia took pencils. Yeah. But imagine all the pencil shavings floating around.
Yeah.
It'd be a nightmare. And then people rubbing, with razors. I'd rather take whatever you said it was. Fisher Space Pen, yeah. Sounds wicked.
It was good. I bought one at NASA.
Yeah.
Still got it somewhere.
Have you? You haven't plotted with it?
No.
Have you
ever
thought
really
about that? Getting some celebrity pens in?
Do celebrities make pens?
Well, no, this was the pen that did this. Or have you ever thought about, going to the bookies and stealing loads of
Argos.
Or Argos, yeah.
Could try
Or IKEA pencils.
Well, the trouble with the pencil is it wears down, doesn't it? A pen is constantly replenishing until that ink's gone. Whereas
Did you just say replenishing?
Good. That's very good.
I think you did.
I like the idea of using a pencil or a pastel.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because the plotter always lifts or drops the drawing implement to the same height.
Yeah.
So what you do at the beginning of the process is you make it drop down as far as it's going to go. Then you put your pen in. So it's definitely touching the paper. So it then lifts itself up so it can move around the paper without scribbling over the paper when it's getting to the position it wants. obviously, if you're using a pastel and pastels wear down over time, if you let it drop down, you put your pastel in, it then lifts up and moves. When it's drawn quite a lot of stuff, the pastel's gone. So you're then in the position that I was in with blotchy pens, where you need to be able to replenish. And pastels generally are a couple of inches.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get much out of a pastel.
Would it be unethical to do this with a tattoo gun on someone's skin?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we start with yours?
Yeah, exactly. No, I will get a portrait of myself tattooed on me for a spreadsheet.
I did have someone ask about doing temporary tattoos using cyanotype ink. So they were going to put it on their arm, then put obviously a contact positive on it and expose themselves to UV light. And I pointed out there was probably a cancer risk if they did that.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
that's not a good idea.
That was mind-blowing. Can I just ask as well, because you're just into all these little digits, do you like maths then?
No, I don't think I did very well. I didn't take it for A-level. I can't remember my GCSE, but it was unspectacular. I don't think you need to be a mathematician, just like I don't think you need to be a musician to make music.
Right.
I think if you know how to play certain things, probably not a piano, because you do need to have musical talent for that. But there are certain things with which you can make music.
Right.
And there are some very famous musicians who I don't want to name because I might put it wrong, who don't know how to play music.
Rick Rubin.
Does he?
He says he knows nothing.
Well, there you go. Who is he?
He's one of our life's greatest producers. Rick Rubin produced a lot of the greatest albums you've ever heard, and he says it's all about the vibe. He'll just hang out in the studio, vibing.
Yeah. But I mean, that's exactly the
That's
point.
what
You
it
don't
is.
necessarily, and because each of these projects has come from another project that was simpler, I've never really learnt maths. I've just iterated my process until it's now, I think if I come to this 5 years ago when lockdown happened, there's no way I would be able to work out how this happens.
Yeah.
It's something that has taken 5 years to develop slowly.
I think what's really
amazing.
interesting, like creatively, and actually, probably, I think you might be the most creative person we've had on this podcast.
Yeah, for
which
real.
is honestly, because what I like is you find a technique and then you find a creative application for it, right? So you do something that it's not supposed to do, and you create art from that. And I think that creative leap is such genius. You're just hacking every little technique you find. And I imagine you go around. If I showed you a new artistic technique now, you'd have hacked it next week and you'd applied it in a way that no one ever thought about it.
That's quite a compliment. Thank you.
Oh, and I think for me as well, I mean, you saying that this is not really boring, because I'm just figuring out, or I'm learning today, that there are people that use Bic to do art.
Yeah.
Like, I would never, for me, art is like a pencil or proper this or proper that. I would never have thought about a Bic pen.
But I don't think art is a proper anything.
No, you're
art
right.
can be
You're
whatever
right.
you want.
You're absolutely right. That's what I mean. I mean, look, I'm not the creative, and I've learned so much from different people. But just that as well, a Bic pen.
What's
to
interesting,
draw with.
there's this whole debate about what is art. There's a lot of like automatic art that's just, people make freaky robots with a spray can on or something. Or, Damien Hirst getting a lot of stick for doing his spin paintings and stuff, and not putting the traditional artistic process and reverence for the technique and stuff. And obviously people get sad. They're like, well, I spent my whole life learning how to paint landscapes.
Yes.
But actually everyone prefers Nick's picture that's made with a plotter and a biro and a spreadsheet.
Yeah,
and they love the story behind it.
Yeah.
But when I was a heathen, I used to say to someone who knew about art, well, that's not art. It's like, my dog could have done that. And he said, it is art because it was created with the intention of being art. Therefore, by definition, it's is art.
Yeah.
I don't think art has to be a landscape, and it doesn't have to be recognisable and doesn't have to even be necessarily good. As long as you as the creator has got something out of it. The best art drawing sessions that I have normally result in everything that I've done going straight in recycling, sometimes not even coming home with me, because it's been about going there for 2 hours, forgetting about the outside world, completely losing myself in making a mess with charcoal. And that is the art. The process, I think, is the art where that's concerned. And I know that you are looking for what is creative by making this podcast, and you're saying, what can I do that's creative? But I think you're doing it anyway with this podcast, but I think anything that you do with an artistic intention is art.
What I love about the plotter, right, taking like 60, 80 hours, I can imagine like you must go to bed and be like, not be able to sleep because you're thinking about it, and then wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, what's it done while I've been asleep? It's like having minions making your art for you while you're asleep, right?
Well, when you get into your 50s and you need to go for a wee
yeah.
4 every morning, I have been known to go and change a pen at the same time.
Because I have similar. I made an entirely CGI movie, or it's a short film. It's like 10 minutes long. but the renders could take like 24 hours. And I'd set it off and I'd go to bed and I literally wouldn't be able to go to sleep because I was excited, thinking about, is it still running or has there been an error or should I just go and check a frame to make sure it's working? And
in case you ran out of pixels halfway through.
Got to pour another bucket of pixels into the PC. It's terrible,
Jeez.
But the room would be so hot when I went back there because the processor was working so hard. But it's really, I love that, like set it off and just see what comes out. Invariably there'll be an error and you're a bit like, and then afterwards you just fall in love with that because it's that error that makes it special. And like you say, you could replicate this. You could do 1 million of them. They'd all be different.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of, the pen's going to change the way it works on the ink, the bleed of the ink, the grain of the paper.
I'm trying to learn to love the blotches.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That gallery that I went to and they said, you need to think about your backstory for this. The other thing was I apologised to the person that I was seeing. I said, I'm really sorry about that one. And she said, no, that is what makes this picture. That imperfection, the bit where the pen has come up and it's all gluey and it's gone on to the next bit. And, and there were like 4 of them on the picture. And when I'd taken pictures of that for Instagram and for my website, I had cloned circles from other parts of the picture over the top of that.
Oh, no.
And for some of them, I'd like been all artistic and I've got to show my tools. So I'd laid the biros over the top of the other ones so that no one could see them. And I've taken that away now. And that's part of the art. If you want the art, you've got to
It's got to be
sit
authentic.
with those imperfections. And that's what shows
That's
you that it's not
amazing.
just a perfect print. It's it's a real
It's
thing and it's
art.
your thing and no one else has got that one.
Yeah.
Nick's always got work in Artists at the Meadows in Chelmsford on the wall,
wow.
which is brilliant. I can go and see, and actually, it's not all just willies because there's like really good like cat ones with
single willy
cats.
there
And,
at all.
no,
Oh,
there's
Jen,
not a
I'm
single
coming
willy.
over to visit.
Yeah.
I've
So-
got to see some work.
But you've used the same technique to make these procedural cats, which is really charming, and you've got some wood cuts and stuff. We haven't got time to talk about it all at the moment, but if you're in Chelmsford, go and check it out. Where else can we see your work?
Online, www.nik.uk. You can even miss off the W's if you just want nik.uk.
That's brilliant.
Okay,
That's so easy.
so easy.
Six things. I can probably type that in. Single fingers.
Well, I could definitely do that.
Nick.uk.
Without a C.
No C.
I love that.
So, Sangeeta, what do you think? Do you want to offer to pose for Nick?
What for what? Oh, those drawing-y things.
Yeah.
No, don't be silly. His computer would crash.
I'm seeing, like, Sangeeta's already agreed to read a poem on stage at Hotbox. I'm seeing how far we can push her into the creative realms.
No.
I was, every year Mr. Bingo does a naked advent calendar, and the first few years I was going to apply, and I never had the day when I could go and do it. 'Cause you had to go and have a photo session.
Right.
But it's really funny, it was like scratch off. Every day you could scratch off.
Oh,
and
really?
see.
Like cakey nuts?
It had like clothes. When it had clothes on, like like a lottery ticket or something.
Yeah.
Had clothes on, you scratch it off and they're naked underneath. But in Mr. Bingo style, it's a very simple line style.
That's a bit like those jigsaws I've done.
Yeah, I love it. So, I don't know. I find that quite I think I'm an exhibitionist, so I find it quite I don't know. I'd be quite happy to be on a gallery wall. Don't know, my wife would be with me. She's always embarrassed about me doing weird stuff. So that's brilliant. Yeah, Sangeeta, that's a big no from you. Maybe a yes from me.
I never said it's a no.
Do you know what? But I love
Definitely
that.
not a big no.
Imagine like what David, the famous statue, he's like, oh, God, I've got to get naked now. And Michelangelo's going to carve a massive granite version of me over 4 years or something like that.
He'd have to not change his body shape, wouldn't he?
I know. It must be so
Couldn't
weird.
eat a thing. He was on lettuce for 4 years.
So
many calories in the tomato.
His laurel wreath was made of lettuce, wasn't he? He could just pull off a bit and snack on it when he got hungry. That'd be difficult, wouldn't it? Or we just do the leg today.
Don't breathe out.
Yeah. Wear your toga, but pull it up on the leg.
I don't think he's even wearing that, is he?
Toga? Oh no, he hasn't. No, he's got his
nothing
willy out, hasn't he? He's got beautiful curls on his pubic area. They're very very well carved.
For a straight man, you spent a lot of time studying that.
Well, actually, if you go to the V&A Museum, have you been to the V&A Museum? The plaster cast room is phenomenal. And they've just got all... Sangeeta, do you know about this? If you go to the V&A Museum, they, at some point in the Victorian time, maybe, they went around the world making plaster casts of the greatest treasures of the world. And they've got Michelangelo's David there, just sat there next to the Trajan column and loads of other art. But it's really fascinating. You can go and see them.
Did you go around the back of David?
What are you talking about with these tea bags?
No. There's a fig leaf that is of the necessary scale to cover David's essentials. And that was because Victorians used to be a bit embarrassed or shy or whatever by it. So they used to hang this fig leaf on it, and that's now mounted on the back of the block.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
What a great secret London story.
Have a little look.
That's amazing.
Get figgy with it.
Get figgy with it. I love that, Nick.
Right. Right, we are on the way out now. So thanks a lot again to Adam Whittaker at Lorca Media Studios for letting him. That's too late now, isn't it?
Letting us.
Thank you. I'm just going to start that whole bit again. Yeah, Nick's checking his watch now. He's like, oh God, can I go yet?
I'm thinking about traces as well.
Are you?
I got to watch it on time slip. Keep off social.
I did a thing. Sorry, because you're geeky. I did a thing once for Netflix called Spoiler Foiler.
Oh yeah,
which was for Breaking Bad when it was the last season of Breaking Bad.
Yep.
And basically we made a website where you could go and log into your Twitter without seeing any Breaking Bad spoilers. It would redact anything. We had about it's quite simple. We had about 200 keywords.
Yeah.
And it would just redact any tweets that had any of those keywords.
So Walter White also redacted White House.
Yeah. Wow.
Breaking Bad redacted breaking news.
No, because it had to be phrase. It was phrases, you know. Hector Salamanca, that was the. I don't know. But it was fun. So like it was because of the Red Wedding. The Red Wedding came out of Game of Thrones.
No, I've seen one episode of Game of
It
Thrones.
was basically the biggest spoiler episode where like if anyone found out, they just flipped a desk, and you're like, just read a book. Just read a book.
Yes.
It's been in the book for about 10 years. So,
okay, right. So it's not that much of a spoiler.
Anyway, so it wasn't a mega spoiler, but people got really upset about it. So we thought, let's fix that for Breaking Bad. Anyway, thank you very much, Adam Whittaker, Lorca Media Studios. Very, very privileged to use this space. Thanks, Adam. Welcome. Thanks a lot, Sangeeta.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, and thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick.
Nik Nick.
Don't forget, you can follow us on at r.u.creative.podcast and send us questions. You can look at Nick's amazing art. You can't buy these bum bags, but you can look at them, can you, on your website?
You can. I have been asked if I'd set up an exhibition with sales of stuff at a place where they would be appropriate. So I'm contemplating that at the moment.
Brilliant. Not Artists at the Meadows,
No,
or maybe
not there.
Artists at the Meadows late. All the walls can spin.
room.
All the
back room.
After 12, after 10 o'clock.
There's a back room with a bouncer. They're going to let people in. Yeah. Oh, wicked, Nick. So, God, I can't figure out how to end this now.
You've done it.
Just say goodbye.